Good morning. It is a sunny morning in Northeast Florida. I'm so happy that you have joined me. For a Saturday project, I'm going to do something that I have never in all these 680-ish videos that I've done before. I'm going to do something that I have never absolutely done, have no idea what's going to happen, where it's going to end up, whether I'll have something that passes with a push or something that I push into the circular bin at my feet. So, I'm going to make some Painty papers. I've been watching Rachel at Roxy Creations make and use them in her collaging, and I'm quite envious. I turn a little bit green each time I see her with them, so I decided let me try myself. I've gotten out my Mission Gold paints. I've dampened down the paints with some spray water just to get them started a little bit. I have my handy dandy watercolor paintbrushes at hand, and I picked a Princeton Select number 10 round. I thought that might go get something on the paper pretty easily. And I have a handful of papers that I used on my last project, and I thought I would try using them here, because this is not the kind of thing that one uses good watercolor paper for. This is just for fun. And here we go. My Viva towel for watercolor I have at hand in case we have a calamity. I have a cheapo paper towels. My drying tool is handy, and so is my water. Let's just see what happens. I think I'm going to use Cobalt Blue number 1. And let's see what happens. Let's try some circles. Well, isn't this just fun? And here I made it a big deal in my mind that it was going to be difficult to do. I'm going to stop there and use the bottom for another design. Well, no wonder Rachel says that this is so much fun to do. And I think I'll do the last row of this design. I'm going to call this a design, which is just a row of circles. All right, Cobalt Blue number 1. Done and dusted. And then let's have a little bit of permanent rose. And what will we have here? How about some dots? Dots filled in this time. Little circles. This is coffee dyed paper. Let's go a little faster. Let's do a double row so I can finish up this section. Why not? It's my Painty papers. I think these dots are just the perfect way to begin something that I exaggerated in my mind as far as what it was going to require. Let's have a different brush. I want something that will make more of a design, and a smaller one. This is a silver black velvet, number 4. And I'm thinking these greens are dragging my eye, so let's not fight them, and let's do sap green. Let's just see what we can make here. And another one. Aren't these just the cat's whiskers? think I would like the stems to be a little finer. Let's do that. It says in the fine print, I guess not. Okay. And I have to stop thinking that all of these leaves should look exactly the same. There, a little bit faster. A little lighter. And faster. Am I totally satisfied with the way these look? No. Am I comparing what I produce to what Rachel does? Yes. And I'm going to try not to do that. Well, I think I'm figuring out how to get these leaves to work. And a thinner stem. Yes. Well, I'm going to do a different one. And I'm going to try not to get my big finger in the damp spots. I think I'll put one more down here. And the more you do, the easier it gets. Especially since you found out that you put the center vein of the flower in, of the leaf in first. Like that. And then put the sides on. Well, here we have experimental page number 1. Let me put this up so that it will dry. And here I have some paper with a design on the back. Let's see what will happen now. Do I have any idea? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Let's try clear violet. Right here. This is rather thin paper. Let's see what happens. Let's see if we put a dot at each of these designs. Well, that purple certainly did its thing, didn't it? And let's have a squiggly line. Move your arm, Carol, it will work better. Well, that's nothing much, but that's okay. This is heavily colored clear violet. It should dry lighter, but not too much lighter. Let's just have a circular flower. have no idea what they are or why they are, but they're there. Let's set this aside now. Well, thus far we have 2 papers. I like it very much, not so much. Let's do our last experimental piece for the morning. I think we're going to have some bright opera. Which is screaming pink. Let's have crosses. Well, that's a nice start. Just using the tip of the brush. Now this wet paint is laying on top of this paper. There must be a little bit of shine to it because it's sitting on top of the paper. and it's still sitting there on these original ones. So it's different sorts of paper. We have to remember to watch to see how long, because that could be ruined very easily just by touching or breathing too hard. Now, let's try cerulean blue. And 5. You have a good quality brush with a very nice point. You can take a little bit more of a chance with designs like this. Oops, fingers, Carol, fingers. There. Well, that was fun. Of course, I'm going to find a way to do flowers no matter what. Well, I hope you have enjoyed this experiment now that I feel as though I can try different things with you and make some not great pieces and some that I'm quite happy with. And I do hope you've enjoyed this visit with me today. I'm going to be getting back to doing this because this is great enjoyment. More of this with a finer brush. I'm going to give it an experiment. I hope that you will do the same thing. This brush was too thick to please me, but these I'm not going to talk about, but they can be used, I'm sure, on a piece of collage very easily. And these little blue flowers worked very nicely with that brush, although I would have been happier if it had been a finer brush. I've learned my lesson. I hope that you have enjoyed today, and if you have, I would appreciate you giving me a thumbs up, leaving a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. I'm going to do more of this, and I'll be back to see you soon. Bye now.